Hey guys.
Hey guys. Has to be the same time.
My seat came up after.
My face, I look like a white blob. You can't even tell I have 8 chins right now. Oh, anyways. You ready? 5, 6, okay.
5.
3, 2, 1.
Hey guys.
So today we are going to talk a little bit more about the rest of our story and more just about long distance.
We're going to tell a little bit about how we first started dating, because in the last video, if you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you go watch that before this one so you can get
It'll make more sense.
a backstory as to how we got together, where we met, and then that will take you to this part of the story, which is going to be part 2 probably. Definitely part 2.
Just obviously
We don't know
2.
out of how many parts. Could be 3, could be 4, could be more. Who knows? But basically, so we kissed on the rooftop as you saw in the last video.
Yep.
A couple days later, I left back to Belize and didn't know when I was coming home next.
And then that's when we started long distance, really. Like, we
Yes.
were FaceTiming so much, almost every day.
And at this point, we actually weren't even officially dating.
No. We go by it, but
Yeah.
he wanted to ask my dad for permission to date me, which
But
he did.
You'll see that later in the video. You'll hear that story. But basically, I'm gone. I'm in Belize. Chanelle is back here on the Sunshine Coast, and so we're FaceTiming just about every day. Getting to know each other better in this context now of a kind of romantic relationship.
And it's interesting because it wasn't questions that were hard. It was more like, so what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Stuff that's just so basic because we already knew everything else.
And we obviously went more in depth with that stuff too.
Yeah.
But it was a huge leg up having already done our DTS.
Yeah, so Donavon was gone for his first 3 months.
Yeah.
And he came back in September. He left June, I don't know, 26th or something like that. So that was our first time seeing each other, knowing that this was going somewhere.
Yeah,
Does that make
but we'd
sense?
already basically been dating. So I come home for about a week before taking off. I'm going to go do a BCC in Norway, which is a Bible core course. And the Bible core course is a 3-month course where you read the entire Bible in 3 months and you learn how to study it. That's what I was doing. So Chanelle actually surprised me at the airport.
Oh yeah, so I surprised him. I can't remember what I said, but I said I couldn't come. I love surprises. He now knows this because I've surprised him almost every single time he's come home.
And she always, I never expected it somehow.
I don't know how. Anyways, and so it was the first time I had met his sister. Well,
Yeah.
she picked me up and she went inside to go get him from the airport. And I was outside hiding behind somebody's car. Actually, we have a clip of it in which I will show right now. I can't believe you're here. Hey, I think you're forgetting something.
Shut the tricks up. You loser. Oh.
Smile for the camera.
You little loser. I had my suspicions. See you, babe. You're sneaky. We stayed at my parents' house, and the next morning we woke up and went to the Sunshine Coast to go to Chanelle's parents' house because I still had not even met her parents or her family. The only people I'd met was her brothers, and that was like super brief and barely even got really introduced. So we get to the Sunshine Coast, which is gorgeous. It's right in the backyard of Vancouver, and I had never been. So it blew my mind just how beautiful it was here. And I got to meet her parents, which was amazing. We went out for dinner the first night and just got to know them a little bit. And as Chanelle had said earlier in the video, I wanted to ask her dad's permission to date Chanelle. Or to court her, depending on what you want to say. So the next day, he actually took Chanelle out to the driveway first. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I don't remember what it was about.
I don't remember what it was about either, but he basically just let me sit on ice for like 10 minutes while he was talking to Chanelle.
Yeah, he did take me out, and then I was like, do you want me to go get Donavon
Yeah.
now?
And he's like, yep.
He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'll go get him.
So me and Michael are sitting in the driveway in some lawn chairs, and we just start talking, and we're basically just kind of going over a little bit of my story and he's relating to my story with his own story. And so we're talking about Chanelle and I and how our relationship is going to look in the future. And obviously Chanelle is his daughter, his youngest daughter, and so she means the world to him.
And only daughter.
So we were just talking about our relationship and what that was going to look like, and how, what my intentions were essentially with his daughter.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I was telling Mike, my intentions are I'm not dating to mess around, kind of like I said in the last video. I'm not dating just for fun or anything like that. I'm looking for someone that I can spend my life with. Mike started crying, and I was crying, and then Suzette, Chanelle's mom, brought us out a couple of beers. We sat out on the driveway for a couple hours and had just a really great conversation, some great time together. And he gave me his blessing to date Chanelle, and so we made it official that day.
We had a couple days on the coast, and then we went back to Vancouver, and we went up to Whistler for a day trip and just did a whole bunch of fun things, and just really soaked in every moment we had, because we knew that, again, he was leaving for 3 months.
A couple days later, I was on a plane to Norway, because I was only home for a week and all.
You're missing the most important part.
What?
When you said I love you.
Oh, shoot, of course. How could I forget?
Anyways, and so it was the morning that you were leaving to Norway, and we made breakfast and stuff, and we had music playing, and then this certain song comes on. It was From the Ground Up by Dan and Shay, and Donavon pulls me aside and we start dancing, and
slow dancing.
We were slow dancing in the kitchen, and that's the first time that he told me he loved me.
We're definitely head over heels in love, and so we were just dancing, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, okay, how do I not tell her that I love her? Like, I'm about to leave for 3 months. I want her to know. Yeah. So I just pulled her in, and I looked at her, and I was like, I love you.
It was just such a sweet...
I still love you. Still to this day.
It was just a perfect end to such a perfect week. And off he went to Norway for the next 3 months.
Yep.
The time difference was really tough for this section of it. It was about 9 hours, so Donavon was getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning. There's times where I'd stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning just talking. Yeah. It's just so sweet.
Yes.
Anyways, and so time went by really fast.
3 months flew by.
It was hard for sure, but Christmas came around, and again, Donavon comes home. I surprise him. Yeah. Him and his family are having dinner.
Favorite sushi place, Raw Sushi. I'm gonna shout out one restaurant per video. Last time was Chong Queen. This one is Raw Sushi. And exhausted for the surprise.
Exhausted, too. He definitely, it was not the same surprise as last time. You were very excited running to me, where this time it was more just like, I'm so confused. What is happening? How are you in front of me right now?
She told me that pipes burst.
What?
At a job site. This is what you told me, because she was working construction for her dad. So she told me pipes burst at a job site, and at some place had flooded.
Okay.
And she was so sorry that she wouldn't be able to make it. She was planning on coming, but she couldn't make it because these pipes burst. So I bought it. I believed her.
Okay, so lying's not a good way to go for things. Don't lie, anybody.
Unless it's surprises.
But unless it's for surprises, it's for the greater good.
The ends justify the means.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. He forgave me. It's fine. We had another week together, and we went skiing up at Mount Baker with his family. We had Boxing Day with my family. So all my family lives on the coast, and I mean, aunts, uncles, both sets of my grandparents, everybody lives here.
Toute la kit.
What?
It's French.
Oh.
For everything, everyone.
So we have this big brunch with Eggs Benny and all that kind of stuff, and so Donavon came up and met literally everybody in my family.
Yes.
And it was just another awesome week that had to end too soon.
Yeah, so then after Boxing Day I stayed at Chanelle's parents' house, and then we came back the 27th or something like that, because I flew out the 28th back to Belize, and this time we had no idea how long I was going to be gone for. There was no date set yet for me coming back home. And I still had 6 months left on my time of staffing. So we were at the airport, and this was the toughest goodbye ever. Sitting there, both of us are just bawling our eyes out, crying.
I think the hard part was just because we didn't know when we were going to see each other next, and we thought it was going to be so long.
Mm-hmm. Finally, we were just like, hey, well, I love you. Like, I'll see you when I see you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I go through security, and I'm still crying and can't see my passport. I'm trying to find my boarding pass to see where I need to go.
I remember getting in the car, and I had to wait there for a solid, like, 10-15 minutes, because, like, I can't drive right now.
Yeah.
I literally cannot see.
A lot of times that were hard on FaceTime where we would miss each other a lot, but that was, like, really hard.
Yeah.
I did not want to get on that plane back to Belize. Best part of the story is that
I came down to Belize a month later.
so then for my birthday, Chanelle is in Belize, and she attempted to surprise me again, but this one did not work out.
There's just no way that I could have done it. It was just way too hard. So I was like, hey, I'm coming to Belize for your birthday. So we had 2 weeks there.
2 weeks, which was the longest time that we'd actually spent in person.
Yeah.
In up to that 7 months of dating. So that was a real treat. We did everything Belize had to offer. We went to all kinds of restaurants.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was the best time ever.
Went spearfishing and snorkeling. Chanelle almost got a fish.
Oh my gosh. We literally spent like 2 hours at this certain hole in the reef. And the same fish kept coming back.
Yeah.
And I tried so hard. But I really suck at going like deep.
She can't dive.
Yeah, Donavon can hold his breath forever and go like 80 feet.
I could.
Well, yeah, you could. But, yeah, I was just not having it. And I was really trying. And I was getting so frustrated.
She couldn't hit anything.
No luck.
We did catch some fish, though, so I went back and I was able to cook.
And then everybody... So, when you're on staff, they have, like, Staff Appreciation Day. And so, while I was there, they were like, oh, this is perfect. Let's do Donavon's Appreciation Day. And so, the staff members, they got us, like, a special candlelight dinner on the deck all set up for us. It was so sweet.
It was beautiful. So, that was our trip to Belize. And then Chanelle went home. A month and a half later, one of my best friends, his name is Will, and he was getting married to his wonderful, beautiful wife, Caitlin. Will asked me to be his best man, and so Chanelle and I both got on planes, her from Vancouver and me from Belize, and we met up in Alabama, which is where they're from. And so we got another week together in Alabama.
Yeah.
So much fun.
It was so much fun, yeah.
It was just a really special time. I don't know, we like bonded even more over that trip than we had before. Like, we got closer over that trip in that 1 week. It felt like forever, which was great.
It felt like a really long week. It was awesome.
Yeah. And then we went our separate ways again.
It was a mixed feelings goodbye because it was another 3 months, but also this was the last 3 months Donavon had on staff, and his commitment was over. So the next time he was coming home for good.
We could see the finish line, and we just wanted it to be over. So we were still FaceTiming all the time, talking all the time.
So much.
And then I came home, and I actually sort of surprised Chanelle this time.
Oh yeah, he did surprise me. He finally learned that I love surprises, and I would way rather be surprised than do the surprising.
I surprised you by some stuff. I sent you flowers, surprise flowers.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That was really sweet. Thank you. Anyways, he was like, okay, this is my last night in Belize, so all the staff members are gonna take me out. We're just gonna hang out, have dinner, all that. So I don't know when I'll be getting back to base. He didn't have a phone plan. He only had every time we could talk was when he was in internet, which was only when he was on base. So I said, just go to bed. I'll talk to you in the morning. I was at my brother's. I was staying there, and me and my brother were just up watching a movie, and I just couldn't sleep. Yeah, there was weird stuff though. Like, I remember messaging you saying that I was going to bed, but I didn't actually end up going to bed, but it delivered. I was like, that's weird. Why did it deliver if he's out? I was like, maybe he left his phone. I don't know.
So I'm freaking out because Chanelle's like, I'm going to bed, and I'm getting picked up by my friend Brandon at the airport. I'm like, man, like, I really want to surprise Chanelle tonight. Like, it's our 1 year of dating anniversary.
Yeah, it was exactly June 24th.
Yeah, which was perfect. And I was like, I really want to be able to see her today, because my original plan was that I was just going to go home and go to bed and surprise her the next day. And, like, there's no way I was going to sleep. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to blow up the surprise. Like, I don't care anymore. I just want to see her.
You weren't going to, but then you text me saying that you were back.
Yeah, back to my casita.
I responded, and you're like, what in the world are you doing up?
Oh, yeah.
And then you phoned me, you said, hey, and like, oh, you sound really tired. Are you tired? And I was like, well, yes. I mean, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, so, I can't remember the exact words, but it was kind of like giving me, do you want to sleep, or do you want to hear something?
Hear something cool.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, it'll definitely wake you up. And I'm like, I guess I'm confused, but okay, tell me. And then that's when he said,
I was like, I'm on my way home from the airport right now. I'm in Canada.
yeah,
Do you want to see me tonight? And she was like, yes, of course.
obviously.
So,
We got to see each other that night. It was still a surprise. It wasn't like a total ruin, but
it's true.
I'm just so glad, regardless, that it all happened and that we got to see each other. And so, yeah, that was the beginning of him being home for good. Anyways, so I think that's where we're going to stop this time. And we're going to save the really, really good chunk of when we got engaged and leading up to getting married and being married. So,
we'll see you next time.
stick around for that part.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in a week or so. Okay, that's enough.
Oh my God.